Hello and welcome to this edition of Let's Compute. My name's Toni Sulkowski and I'm Director of Technology for the Peters Township School District. And I'd like to welcome you to this program today in which I'm going to be addressing topics on the internet, most specifically web browsers. I'm bringing this topic to you by popular demand as people have requested that I review how to use web browsers. So here we go. Hopefully, if you're near your television and a computer at the same time, you can follow along so that this edition will be more meaningful to you. So we're going to start out with a popular web browser of Firefox today. Now on your computer, you may have more than one browser available to you, depending also on what type of computer you have. Most computers come with Internet Explorer as their main web browser. In other words, that's the program that you look at while you're surfing the internet. Firefox is a free open source browser, an alternative browser that is also available, and that's what we use primarily here in the school district. For those of you that own an Apple Macintosh computer, you may be using the Safari browser. It's also available for PCs as well. So we'll stick with Firefox. It's kind of middle in the road. Not every browser looks alike, but you may want to take advantage of looking at least at the main elements and then applying it to the browser that you have on your computer at home. I'm already in my Firefox browser, but once again, most likely on your computer, you're going to see what we call a shortcut or an icon with a little arrow there that will allow you to click on that and then go right to your browser. If you have a Macintosh, you probably have a dock at the bottom of your screen, and the Safari browser or the Firefox browser will be in there. So I'm going to return to my browser, and I'm going to be prepared to want to get to the internet and to do things. Now I have a default page here, which is the school district page. You may have something different. The first thing I'm going to share with you, beyond just searching for pages, most of you know that right here in this white box that you type in the name of the place on the internet that you'd like to travel to, and that's called a URL, and actually that stands for Uniform Resource Locator, which just means the name of the website using words. Many of them have numbers actually to identify them, an address just like you have at your home. So a lot of people also refer to this URL as the web address. And I think that's the term I'll use during the bulk of this show today. So most of you know how to get to a web address by typing the exact address in this little white box. However, as you're going through pages, and I'm going to go through some here and type some pages in, so just bear with me a little bit as I go through and type these in. If I wanted to go to a company, for example, I could type that in and I hit my enter or return button and I get to the next web page. So I'm going to try another one in here. I'll just try Power School, so that's another page that I'm going to. And maybe I want to go to NetTrekker, so I can easily find these web pages and put them right in that little web address. Now, maybe I would like to go back to a page that I was just on. How do I do that? Most of the people are familiar with these arrow buttons here at the top of the web page or the browser. So by clicking on that left arrow, I can go back page by page to where I was at. Very easy. And then I can also go forward. Now most of us know how to go backwards and forwards, but it's a little limiting because you don't always remember the order in which you were going on the pages, and it can be a little time consuming as well to have to push these buttons back and forth. So how can we resolve that? A couple of ways that we can do that. If you go up to the word File in the menu on your web browser and we click on that, notice that one of the first options we have is New Window. So I'll type New Window in there. Now what's happened is I actually now have two what we call pages on my computer desktop at the same time. So you can see I'm now going to have two pages up there so that I can go and click between the two if I would like. And in fact, I can even change the size of them using the resizer at the bottom right-hand corner. If I click and hold, there are little arrows that come up in the right-hand corner, and I can resize these windows if I would like to see a couple of pages at the same time. So you can create as many new windows as you would like. You can type in the web addresses to them, and you can navigate through your pages in that way also. I find that a bit cumbersome as well, so I'm going to share with you something new on web browsers that not too many people have actually taken advantage of. It's called tabbed browsing. If you think of file folders, manila file folders in the office, and they had the little tabs at the top, same type of concept here in the web, and this is called tab browsing. So if I hit the word file in my menu, I'll see the word new tab, words new tab. I'll click on there, and notice here in my browser what comes up is one tab on a page I was already at, and then another tab that's blank so I can put the name of a company on here or the name of a place. So I'll try, well, the kids like Facebook, we can go there. And we'll try another new tab. I'll put Power Teacher on there for the teachers. So now if you look across the top of my screen, you'll see three tabs: the Apple tab, the Facebook tab, and the Power Teacher. By merely clicking in the middle of the tab, I can quickly go back and forth among as many pages as I would like to have in my tabs. I can keep adding to my tab browsing. This is a great tool if you want to compare items on web pages. If you're doing some online shopping, for instance, and you're comparing prices of automobiles or computers or electronic devices, one of the easiest ways to do all that comparison is to use this tab browsing. I like it better than the new window because rather than having to search for the little boxes on my desktop all of the time, I can merely click on these tabs at the top of my browser to enable me to go from place to place very quickly. Now, once I use a tab and I don't want it anymore, let's take a look at the tabs. You'll notice at the end of each tab is a little X that shows up. It becomes the color or colorful when you tab over, you kind of put your mouse over it. So if I want to get rid of this tab, I just click in the X and it's gone. So I can use as many tabs as I would like. So that's the easiest part of using tab browsing. How did I do that again? I'll show you. I go up to File, and I can go to New Tab. Or, I know in Internet Explorer and also here in Firefox, there are some icons in this menu bar down here that allow you to do that in a quick way. So if I want to add a new window, in other words, new pages, each time I'm navigating, I can click here. If I want to add a new tab, I merely click here and it adds a tab, and then I can put the name of my website or search for the name of the website, and it will come up in that tab. So right here now I have two tabs open and I can easily navigate between the two. And if I want to add more, again, I click right here on Open a New Tab. So tab browsing allows me to have more than one page open on my desktop at a time, and allows me to quickly transition and move back and forth between the various web pages and or among them. Now that we've got our tab browsing going, some people may be also using bookmarks. And so here up on my browser, I've brought up the word bookmarks. Internet Explorer calls them favorites. These are websites that you may want to keep over time because you visit them a lot, and you want to make sure that they're in the memory of the application so that you can return to them. Sort of like creating your own index in a web browser. Every time you want to add them, all you have to do is bookmark this page and just click on that, and it will add it to your list of bookmarks. You can see here I have a rather lengthy list that I've already started, and you can keep adding to those and make your list as long as you would like. Once you have your bookmarks stored, you can just click on bookmarks and then pick which one you would like to go to, and it will take you right to that page. And then you can use that also when you're tabbed browsing if you would like to. So to save a bookmark, and I'll just choose a place to go here, that if I would like to bookmark it, we can. If I wanted to bookmark this particular page, I would go to Bookmarks or Favorites, depending on what your browser is, and then simply bookmark this page, or if I wanted to, I could make it my favorite, whatever it is. So you just add it. It says where would you like to place it, and then we just click OK. So if I return to my bookmarks, it's now down here at the bottom, and I can add that. So bookmarking or marking favorites is a nice, convenient way to keep a track and a list of all these websites that you like to visit on a regular basis, especially those of you that have hobbies out there or have certain places that you like to visit on a regular basis. Now, if you really get into this, you may find that over time you have a huge amount of bookmarks, and you may need to start organizing those bookmarks. So to do that, you go back up to Bookmarks, and it will say Organize Bookmarks or Organize My Favorites. When you click on that, you get a window that comes up, and it will list them, and it will list the hierarchy or the arrangement of all of these. And you can also, in your bookmarks, you can add new bookmarks, and you see here, on here it says add a new bookmark. New folder, so if I want to organize them by folders, I can do that. If you have one with cooking sites, you could place all the websites for cooking in there. If you have sites for news, you can place all the websites for news in there. If you have sources for education or the schools, you could put all of your bookmarks in there. So this bookmarks manager or a favorites manager will allow you to organize that. So if I wanted to create a new folder, I simply give it a name. I could say organizations. Make sure I spell it correctly. My folder shows, and then anything that I bookmarked, I can simply take and place it in here. So if I take a look at some of my bookmarks, I may want to take this, and I can just simply drag it right into that folder. So then when I click on my organizations folder, I'll be able to see all my organizations. So it's sort of like a large filing cabinet for all of your websites. So think of your bookmarks manager or your favorites manager as this big file, and then you can create folders with your different divisions in there so that you can save all of your web pages, and then you can get back to them very easily, and you don't have to remember all the time what was the web address for that particular website. So once I'm done with that bookmark manager, of course, I can just X right out of there, and it takes me right back to my web page. So that's just a little bit about bookmarks or favorites, places that you can save your favorite websites. Now, the next thing that I get a question on often is, when I have this web browser, it comes up to a certain kind of news stream, or it comes up to a search engine, and I really don't want to see that all the time. I'd like to see the local newspaper on there, or maybe one of the television stations, or maybe there's a particular website that you really like. How do I make that my home page, the page that I start with whenever I turn my browser on or open it up? That's very easily done in the Tools section in the menu. So on the browser, at the top where the words are, we're going to go to the word Tools. And as we look at the word Tools, there's usually something here called Options. So I'm going to click on Options, and you'll get different things that you can do with your web browser here across the top on these various icons. I'm going to go here to where it says Main. Usually it's the Main or General, they may also call it, or Preferences, one of those types of words. But when you click on one of these icons, it should take you to a place where it shows you what you want to do with the first page that comes up. So notice right here, it says when Firefox starts, show my home page. I may have selections where I can show a blank page or show my windows or tabs from the last viewing. I can do that. Or if I want my home page, I can actually type in the name of my web page, or I can use one from one of my bookmarks. So here in my case, if I really like getting onto Grow Your Online, which we use here in the schools, I could mark that, and now that could be my home page. Or after I change my news, what I want to do, I can change it to something else. Maybe I really want to have United Streaming on there, or maybe I would really like to have our help desk on there since I have to access that. It's your choice what you would like to set. I just set it to the district website, but you don't have to do that. So if I wanted to change it at any time, I could just merely type in the URL. And once I type OK, it should remember that. Now, how do you do that? I'm tab browsing, I'm moving around, I'm going different places. I want to get back real quickly to my home page. On the menu that you see here in this what we call toolbar right here is a little house. That little house stands for your main page, or what we call your home page. When you click on that, it takes you right back to that home page. It's a little shortcut for you. There's another symbol on here next to the house that some people have asked about, and that particular symbol is a refresh symbol. That means that sometimes you have to refresh the page. You have to let the internet know, or the service that you're using know, that maybe this page has been updated and I would like the latest version of that web page. So in order to do that, you click on the little arrow, and that little arrow kind of just updates it. Sometimes we'll have parents call and say, I'm not seeing things on the website, I'm seeing the same thing I saw last week. And I will suggest to them to click on the refresh button. This is the button that we're talking about. And you may need to do that because sometimes browsers tend to cache or save pages and keep them in the memory of your browser so that it makes browsing faster. So that when you go back to our website, or you go back to a company that you've been to, or a cooking site, it will go back to that really quickly, but will show you the old information. So sometimes it's helpful just to click on the refresh so it just brings up the newer changes that have been made to that web page. So that's what we mean when we talk about the refresh button. Often you will have in your little toolbar here below where the web address is, a place where you can actually save some of your favorite websites. It's another way of bookmarking. Some people like to bookmark by leaving it in a list. Some people like to bookmark by putting their favorites right here in the toolbar next to that. How do you do that? Well, it's really easy. You just click on the icon or the symbol next to the web address, you left click on it, and you simply hold down the mouse and drag it into that toolbar section. I'm going to let go, and it should show up. And I have so many things in here, there it is. It just shows up in this little side list over here. But I have bookmarked for real easy viewing these 5 places that I go to on a regular basis. You can do the same thing at home. Just merely by in your web browser, left clicking and dragging the name of the site into the toolbar. Let me show you that again so you can see a little illustration of that. Now this is pretty easy to do. Let me find the website. It comes up. You can see the icon of the website right here. If I want to keep this in my toolbar for easy viewing, I just left click on it and hold down the mouse and drag it into this toolbar, and it will take it right into here, and you can see it, there it is. So that's another way of shortcutting your work, using your time more efficiently, and using the browser in a way that will help you. What are some other things that we have here in the internet browser to help you as a user? Another one is what we call history. The history allows you to see what you've done prior to this in your browsing. So if you want to go back in your memory banks, you don't have to depend on your own brain. You can depend on using the history here in the web browser. So if I click on the word history, I can go back using my left arrow, or I can go to home, or it also lists all the pages I've been on so far today. And that's basically what that does, is show me this list today so that I can find things very easily. Now that's what you get when you go to the menu. Also here within your tools, there usually is a little clock somewhere. That little clock is for the history, the pages that you've recently visited. So if I left click on that little clock, You can see here on the left-hand side of my page, it brings up everything that I visited today. However, not only does that, it also lists all the pages that I've visited 4 days ago, 5 days ago, older than 6 days. Sometimes you can do it for yesterday, the day before. So as you're working on here and you forget where you've been, you want to find it quickly, again, this is another helpful tool on the web browser that will help you to easily locate web pages. And this is the history. You can also change the way that you view your history. You can not only do it by date, you can do it by site or by most visited. So I can click this and show it by site, and it will take me to every single web page that I've gone to. And then if I want to go back to that, I can actually just go ahead and click on that and it will show me. I really like the date and the site. That helps me more than anything. And then by clicking on these little pluses, I can then break it down to see exactly which pages I've gone to here in the history. Okay, so now we've done a little bit of working with the history icon, and I can simply click that icon, or I can click this red X right here, and then again, the red X is consistent. Anytime you see an X, it means to close it off so that we don't view it anymore. That's what that means. Sometimes you'll get a little icon up here like this. It looks like a little miniature printer. That's if you would like to print the web page. That way you don't have to go up to the word File and Print in the menu. It's a little shortcut that takes you right to the printing. This one right here, you can see how the downloads are going if you're downloading any information. In other words, you're bringing it from the internet down to your desktop. What if you find a link that you really like and you want to share with someone? All you do is you go to File, click on here, and right here it says Send Link. When you click on that, it opens up your email and places the link automatically inside of your email, and then all you have to do is address it to that person that you'd like to send the link to. So if you find a web page about something that you're interested in and you want to share it with other people, once again, how do you do that? You merely go up here to File and Send Link. Your email should open. Everything's set and ready to go automatically, and all you have to do is fill in the blank as to who you would like to send it to. That's a really handy item. Some people don't use that. They get confused. They try to copy the web browser and paste it right into their email directly. You don't need to go through all of that. Use these tools on your browser to help you work more efficiently as you're working on the internet. Alrighty. What else do we have here for you? Once again, you can use this for your print. You can save pages if you would like as a certain name. And then again, you can change your view. Under view, sometimes people don't use all of this, but it's nice and handy. You can show what toolbars you like. And also under view, you can customize your toolbars. In other words, you can add things that you would like to have in there. And you can arrange them however you would like them. You can show the icons, you can show icons in text, but this is a way to make it look the way that you would like it. Just a nice little touch for those of you who would like to try something else. Again, we've talked about the history, we've talked about the bookmarks, and we've talked about the tools under options. One other thing that I don't want you to forget about is the help. The help is a really nice feature that a lot of people don't use, but it is a handy reference guide, and help can be found on most any application that you're using on your computer. It doesn't matter if it's a web browser, it could be a program that you're using like Word or Excel or PowerPoint. But if you use that help, the help becomes an index and it allows you to search for things. So if you're not sure what to do, when you click that, it comes up and it has just like a little miniature guide there, and you can search for information or search for how to do something. So if you have a question, you don't necessarily have to call in one of the kids or the computer geek next door. You can actually look for help yourself and do a little bit of troubleshooting on your own before you ask someone for help. And that's the easy place to find it. And there's even a printer there so you can print that if you would like. In a prior show, we talked about the internet and searching on the internet and doing safe searching. We just like to remind all of the parents in Peters that we do have access to NetTrekker, and NetTrekker is a search engine specifically for the schools. The Pennsylvania Department of Education has purchased NetTrekker for all the schools in Pennsylvania for the past 3 years. The students do have access to it at home and at school. The codes for that can be provided through their librarians, and we also provide links for that on the website. So that's available actually to any student and or parent in the state of Pennsylvania to use. So it's a nice safe search engine and it helps to narrow things down. However, if you do like to use search engines, you know that most web browsers include at least one of the search engines in there. If it isn't Google, it may be Yahoo. It could be another search engine, and all you have to do when you're looking for something is to type keywords in, and those keywords will help you to find what it is you're looking for. As you use the internet, please make sure you're careful as to the validity of websites. We do teach the students that here in Peters, to let them know that not all websites are what they're cracked up to be. And most often anything with a .gov at the end of it is a reliable site. That's a government site. Anything with .edu is edu. That is usually an educational site, most likely university or public education site. .org can be reliable. However, there are groups out there that will mask their information under a .org. They'll just pay for that domain name and it may not be reliable. So when you're on a website, be sure to check out who's sponsoring that website, who's authoring that website, and perhaps additional information on the website to give you a little bit more information about the site itself and its content. So today the purpose of Let's Compute was to provide you with some basic information as to how to better navigate your web browser. Hopefully you'll take some time to discover the world of bookmarking and tab browsing, and that you'll take a look at your history on your website a little more and use your toolbar a little more efficiently. I thank you for your time today, and I also want to thank the students in the Period 9 Media 2 and Media 3 classes here at Peters Township High School for helping out with this broadcast. And as always, their sponsor, Mrs. Robin Hodgen-Frick, and Mr. Ryan Bonai from Channel 7. Thanks again, and remember, happy computing.